Hey guys, welcome back. This is the reviewer. And so today I'm going to be talking about Bandersnatch. I know I'm a little late to the party. I know this came out like a month ago, but I just saw it today and I really wanted to talk about it. I wrote down like all the decisions I made. And I'm going to go through them all and talk about my path. I don't know, like maybe no one's ever had this path. Maybe like I took like the most common path. I really don't know. I might actually do it again. I like maybe I'll review it, maybe I won't. But like just and make some like different decisions and see if I can get like a different ending. So basically, how this was really cool, by the way. Like this was super creative, and so it starts with kind of like an intro about how to do it. It's just like something displays on the bottom, yes or no. I don't know if you could do this on like a TV. I heard you couldn't, so I just did it on like my phone. And so I noticed like pretty quickly, there's no timer like for the movie on the bottom. Like usually there would be like a timer, like saying you're like half an hour in, but it doesn't do that for this. And I thought that was a good choice, like because it keeps the suspense like of an already suspenseful thing. And so the first choice you get, well, so you see a guy who, he looks like 19, 20, but like fairly young. And so your first like real choice comes up and you get to choose between sugar puffs or frosties. And I chose frosties. I don't know if this like even this affects something. Maybe like this like I already like lost like three endings from doing this. I really don't know. I really don't know how everything like affected everything. And so and then you're on the bus and you get to choose whether you want to listen to. So it said Thompson Twins. I don't know if it's sung by the Thompson Twins or it's like the song is called Thompson Twins. I'm not sure. I don't remember the other option. It might have been like Take Two. I think it had something with like a two in it. And so the guy Stefan, he's nervous because he meets the guy. We learn his name's Colin, who makes video games that he really likes, and so he shows Stefan shows his new game for the Bandersnatch idea, and everyone and the guy I don't remember his name, like the executive, he's really interested, and so he gave us a choice whether or not to work there, and I accepted their offer. And but then so we see the news saying that the game is like really bad. Like I think it actually said like 0 out of 5 stars. So Stefan, he's obviously upset and he's like, I'm gonna start again. And so we're taken back to like before I made the decision to get the game made. So I think like I guess I went back in time. And I think that's what they were going for. I honestly was never able to really wrap my head around it. But I'm pretty sure like that's us putting him back in time. Like us as like the controller. And so they brought me to the choice again to get my game made, but this time I refused. But like I'll still like sell it like through their company. So it's really just like I won't be working there. I'll be working on it like alone at home. And my dad is kind of skeptical of this. But this time around, people really like the game. I think the guy gave it like 4 stars or something. Like he said, it was really good and really like creative. Especially, I think this takes place in 1984, so I think especially for that time, it was really creative. And so then we see Stefan talking to a therapist, and he kind of opens up about his dad. You were able to tell pretty quickly him and his dad don't have the best relationship, and you kind of figure out why like as the story goes on. Well, at least I did. I don't know, like maybe this has nothing to do with like what happens in my story doesn't happen in anyone else's story. But he opens up about his dad to the therapist. Um and then so I was given the choice, like I didn't know what happened with the mother at this point, with like he's about to talk about it. So the therapist is like, "Oh, do you want to talk about your mother?" And so I chose yeah to talk about my mother. And so so in the flashback, so like there's a flashback of him talking about what happened. And so there's a choice of whether or not to go with my mom to wherever she was going to, like on like some train. And so it only gave me the option to not go with her. because in the flashback I was like a kid and I wouldn't go without my bunny. And so it's revealed here that like the mom dies on the train, and Stefan has always blamed his dad because I guess they got into like a fight the night before, and so but the dad had like taken the bunny, and then that made her late to, or that made her go on that train, which got derailed. And I think Stefan just kind of always blamed his dad, and in a way they're kind of both at fault. And I think Stefan also knows that, but he never wants to say that. Like, I was so petty I wouldn't go out with my bunny, and like, he probably has like some feelings like what I wouldn't do to like go back and like never go for the bunny. So we're choosing between albums, and I actually ran out of time on this one. Like, I was like, I don't know, and then I like before I knew the time was up. This was the only time that happened. And so I chose the album. I think it was called like Phaedra. I'm assuming this doesn't matter. Like, maybe it like has a very small impact, but like I assume my ending wasn't like drastically different because I chose Phaedra. But like, I really don't know. And so then there's like a montage about working more on the Choose Your Own Adventure game. So I think we went in time again. I'm not sure when that happened, but I think that's what happened. Like, I don't know. Like, once you get far enough into the movie, it's kind of hard to tell where you are in time. And I'm not sure if that's intentional or unintentional, but like, you're kind of like, okay, what was real? What happened in like a different timeline? And so you're a little bit confused what timeline you're in. And as it goes on, it like the story kind of figures itself out. And in like it kind of messes with your brain more. And so we got mad at the video game, and we were mad at our dad because our dad was like talking to us. And so we can only choose between throwing our tea at our computer and yelling at our dad. I really didn't like either of those choices, but I chose to yell because I didn't want to like ruin the computer and like mess up the game. And so the dad forced us to go to lunch, but he actually takes us to a therapist instead. And so we see like our hero Colin, and so we have the choice to go to the therapist or follow Colin. I chose to go to the therapist. And so Stefan seems to actually have like some stuff figured out. And so he realizes like he talks about how like he thinks decisions are being made for him, which when I actually saw this, I thought this was like almost like a breaking the fourth wall joke. But I think like as the story figures itself out, that's not, it was he actually feels this way. And so we get to choose between like biting our nails or like pulling our earlobe, and I chose biting nails, but like he kind of stops himself because like he doesn't want these decisions made for him. And then we have the choice to either take our pills or not take our pills, and I chose to take the pills. Um, and then so we see that again the game didn't do very well. So he says he's gonna try again, and everything happens like again in a montage. This is when I start getting like really confused. But this time when like we had the choice to follow Colin when we saw him or go to the therapist, I chose to follow Colin. And so Colin offered me like some drugs, and Colin like actually on a drug trip talked more about like, oh, I think people are making decisions for us. And so we got to, and so Colin was like, one of us should jump like off the roof. I think this was just drugs. I don't think that he was thinking rationally, very obviously, very rationally here. And so we got to choose who jumps off the roof, and I chose Colin. I didn't want to die. So it has us with our pills. We actually woke up after this, so I think it was just a dream. Um, and so we had a choice about whether we're gonna take our pills or well, it was actually like what to do with the pills, but the only options were to throw them away or like flush them. So I don't think it really mattered. Maybe like flushing them. I chose to throw it away, but I don't think it really mattered. Like no matter what, the pills. And so we got frustrated because our game still was not working, and so we could either destroy the computer or hit the desk. So I decided to hit the desk because I didn't want to like mess with the game. And so then like this is when things could start getting like really weird. I have not like I've had some trouble getting around like what kind of happens at this part. And so we could either pick up like a book or a family photo, and I chose to pick up the book, but I ended up just falling asleep reading. We were chose to enter like a password into this computer, and I chose pack over packs. I wonder if packs would have just had a whole new thing. But I think this was also all a dream. Like this is when it starts getting really confusing. And so, we're yelling about whoever's controlling them to give him a sign, and I chose the sign Pax because I thought, like, since I typed that in. And so Stefan is convinced that his dad is behind all of it because he saw like this scene of his mom dying, so he thinks it's all just been staged. And Stefan like goes crazy and kills his dad. And so then we had to choose a number to call. And so we had four of the numbers and then the last one, but four of the numbers we had remembered from conversation. So I was trying to think what numbers could have been worked in the conversation, and I assumed one would be because one could be used as like not well, it's always a number, but like I'm the one. You wouldn't say like I'm the three. So I thought one would be the most common used number. I don't know if that was correct, or I don't know if there is any correct. And so we get Dr. Haynes' office, like the therapist we had been talking before, and Stefan kind of goes crazy. He's talking about how he's gonna kill Dr. Haynes, how he killed his dad, and then this is how it ends. So we see Stefan, and I think it's like a mental hospital or a jail cell, and the we end that the game ended up being a 2.5 out of 5 stars, and Stefan on like the wall is drawing like these choose your own adventures, which I thought was a little bit chilling, like he's destined to a life of only that. And then so it said we could I think like we could change how our endings, because it kind of went to like when stuff got all confusing. So I decided to just go to the credits and end it the real way. I think that was for people that wanted to see the other endings. Maybe I'll do that. I want to get this review up. And so this was really awesome. I'm gonna give it like an 8.5 out of 10. Like this was really cool. Maybe even a 9. Like I'll give it a 9.